It was supposed to be impossible. Alcatraz wasn't just another prison. It was a fortress built on isolation, wrapped in cold water and myth. The message was clear. If you ended up here, you weren't meant to come back. And for decades, that's exactly how it went. Until one silent night in 1962, when three men vanished into the darkness and left behind one of the greatest mysteries in American history. Now, more than 60 years later, science, letters, and sightings suggest something unthinkable. Maybe, just maybe, they actually made it. To understand why their escape shocked the world, you first need to know what Alcatraz really was. A lonely rock in the middle of San Francisco Bay, surrounded by currents so deadly they were considered a natural wall. Inside, the prison was engineered for control. Tool-proof steel bars, a cell for every inmate, guards watching from above with rifles ready. Inmates were counted up to 13 times a day. Talking during meals, a privilege. Visits, earned. Hope, slowly chipped away. It was designed to crush the spirit, not just hold the body. That image of total control was essential. Over 29 years, 14 escape attempts were recorded, and all failed. Some prisoners were shot, others recaptured, and the rest presumed drowned. The prison used that history as a weapon. No one escapes from Alcatraz. That idea was so powerful, it kept even the most hardened criminals from trying. Until June 11, 1962. Three men, Frank Morris and brothers John and Clarence Anglin, slipped out of their cells and into history. They didn't just run, they vanished without a trace. The genius behind the plan? Frank Morris. He wasn't just smart, he tested in the top 2% of intelligence. A career criminal with a history of breaking out. He was sent to Alcatraz because no other prison could hold him. From the moment he arrived, he was already planning his exit. Morris teamed up with the Anglin brothers, fellow inmates he'd known in previous prisons. Together, they formed a plan so meticulous it defied belief. For months, they chipped away at the walls behind their sinks using stolen spoons and a drill made from a vacuum cleaner motor. They covered their work with fake grills made of cardboard and paint stolen from the library. Every detail was considered. Morris even played the accordion during music hour to mask the sound of digging. They didn't just dig a hole, they staged a masterpiece of deception. Each dummy head, crafted from soap, toilet paper, and hair swept from the prison barbershop, was so realistic that guards on night rounds were completely fooled. The illusion didn't stop there. Towels, shaped into limbs beneath the blankets, created convincing silhouettes of sleeping bodies. Behind their cell walls, a hidden passage led them to a secret upper level, rarely inspected and perfect for covert activity. It was there that the trio constructed what would become the key to their escape, a 6 by 14-foot raft made from more than 50 stolen raincoats. Using thread gathered from prison workshops, they stitched the rubberized material together and sealed the seams using the heat from the prison's steam pipes. Ingeniously, they transformed a concertina, similar to a small accordion, into a makeshift air pump, ensuring the raft could be inflated quickly once it reached the water. Each step in the plan was part of a larger performance, designed not only to escape confinement, but to leave behind only questions. On the night of June 11, 1962, they made their move. They climbed through the wall, up 30 feet of plumbing pipes, and out onto the roof. Then they slipped into the freezing bay waters and disappeared. No alarms were triggered. By the time guards noticed something was wrong, the men were long gone. One man didn't make it. Alan West, the fourth member of the group, got stuck in his tunnel. He couldn't break through the final layer of concrete in time. The others couldn't wait. West would later confess everything: how they dug, how they built the raft, how they planned to reach Angel Island. But none of that helped catch the escapees. Authorities searched the waters. A paddle was found, a waterproof bag with family photos, a piece of the raft, but no bodies, no footprints, no trail. The official story was simple. They drowned. But the evidence? It didn't quite add up. Then came 2013. A letter arrived at the San Francisco Police Department. "I escaped from Alcatraz in June 1962, it read. Yes, we all made it that night, but barely. The writer claimed Frank Morris had died in 2005. Clarence Anglin in 2008. He said he was dying too and wanted to surrender in exchange for medical help. The FBI tested the letter. Handwriting, fingerprints, DNA. Inconclusive, not confirmed, not debunked. The mystery reignited. Family members had long claimed the brothers were alive, sending postcards, appearing in old photos from Brazil. A 1975 image showed two men believed to be John and Clarence standing beside a farm shack in rural Brazil. And in 2018, CBS broke the story of the letter, bringing public attention back to a case that had gone cold. But the most convincing piece of evidence didn't come from a letter or a photograph. It came from science. In 2014, Dutch researchers used tide modeling to reconstruct the waters on the night of the escape. Their conclusion: if the men launched their raft between 11 p.m. and midnight, they could have reached Angel Island. That tiny window matched the escape's timeline exactly. That changed everything. Suddenly, the escape wasn't just possible, it was probable. The story that had lived in legend was now backed by data. And that raised a bigger question. If they survived, where did they go? To this day, the U.S. Marshals Service refuses to close the case, even 6 decades after the escape. In 2022, they released digitally age-progressed images of Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers, hoping someone might recognize them. But that wasn't the end of it. According to a 2023 report published in the San Francisco Chronicle, 2 separate tip-offs from Brazil were forwarded to U.S. authorities, both referencing elderly American men living under assumed names in remote areas near Rio Branco. Though unverified, these tips reignited online speculation and prompted brief surveillance efforts in cooperation with Brazilian officials. Adding to the intrigue, a Freedom of Information Act request, filed in early 2024, uncovered internal memos suggesting that the U.S. Marshals Service had received multiple credible international sightings between 1990 and 2005 that were never publicly disclosed. One memo specifically cited a 1993 case in which a passport under the name John Kelly, an alias reportedly used by John Anglin, was flagged during a routine immigration screening in Argentina, but never followed up. Despite these developments, no confirmed arrests have ever been made. The men, if alive, would be in their 90s today, but the new findings have fueled fresh interest in what was once thought a cold case. It's no longer just the 2013 letter that casts doubt. It's a growing body of circumstantial evidence suggesting the impossible might have happened. The escapees may not only have survived, but outlived the prison that once claimed to be unescapable. Alcatraz is now a museum. Tourists walk the same halls once occupied by the most dangerous men in America. But beneath the surface, the question still lingers. Did Frank Morris and the Anglin brothers outsmart the most secure prison in U.S. history? Or did the Bay claim them, as so many believed? The answer remains hidden beneath the waves, but every time the fog rolls over San Francisco Bay, and someone looks out at that island and wonders what really happened, the legend lives on. And somewhere, in the silence, maybe the truth is still drifting.